Hello my friends, it's Wednesday. Do you know how many S-400 Triumph anti-air defense systems were destroyed in Novorossiysk in the night between 14th November? You don't? Well, you're about to find out because we all just found out. Satellite imagery were posted about this attack. I mean, it happened almost a week ago, but the information is just so juicy, I gotta share it with you. 11th of November, Novorossiysk air defense positions, S-400 systems, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think there's 7th launchers somewhere on this photo where 7 launchers were confirmed to be present at the time of the attack. What attack am I talking about? Well, of course, this one, the massive mushroom cloud that happened at the night of 13th to 14th November in the port of Novorossiysk. And by the way, if you see an explosion like that coming from the Russian army, with the sparks flying out, usually it is a book system, anti-air book system, but in this case it's S-400s going bada boom. It looks magnificent. Depending on which angle you look at, the mushroom cloud is bigger or smaller, but look at this photo. I mean, it almost looks like a nuclear attack. Thanks to the dutiful Russian citizens of Novorossiysk, we have plenty of videos of all different angles knowing exactly what was destroyed and what the explosions looked like. The Black Sea port of Novorossiysk of Russia is responsible for 2.2 million barrels of oil exports per day, which amounts up to 2% of the entire global supply. This is insane. And now it has been knocked out cold by the Ukrainians. Here's another beautiful angle for you of the mushroom cloud, and what could be burning so heavily if it's not the S-400 systems. By the way, the export price of an S-400 battery is $1 billion. Could you imagine Russians making anything that is worth $1 billion? But there are countries who have paid that price. I bet they're watching these videos and tearing their hair out because they paid that price, and now it's been proven in the Ukrainian war by the Ukrainians that they can destroy them left and right. The S-400s cannot even defend themselves. Here is a photo of view of 3 of the main Russian oil export terminals on the Black Sea, and Ukraine has hit all of them one by one, and there was a brief moment in the last week where the entire Russian oil export through the Black Sea was shut down. Now some of these terminals work again, but for a brief moment we got that silence. No oil going through the Black Sea, no Russian oil. It was a beautiful few days. I showed you the satellite footage of 11th of November. Now let's look at the satellite footage of 15th of November, so a few days after the attack. And out of these 7 S-400 launchers, you can see some of them have only black residue left. It's black dust, some stains on the ground, smoke stains, nothing left of that $1 billion S-400 launcher. Beautiful job by the Ukrainians. It has been confirmed by this satellite photo, by the way, that 4 launchers were destroyed. This is the biggest single hit that destroys so many S-400s. This hit will be recorded in history. By the way, after Ukraine struck the S-400s, we saw that beautiful mushroom cloud. After that, they released Neptune missiles. Ukrainian-made anti-ship missiles, now redeveloped to hit targets on the ground. And what did they hit with these Neptunes? Well, of course, the Novorossiysk oil terminal itself. First they knocked out the air defense, then they knocked out the oil terminal. And by the way, how do they know what to hit in that oil terminal? Well, I'll teach you, my friends. Oil shipping terminals, components, by the list. There are berths, loading arms, pipeline network, pumping station, metering station, yada yada. You can even see the criticality, high or medium. What to take out of this point is whatever you hit in the oil terminal is pretty much high or medium criticality, very expensive to fix, gonna take a lot of time. And that's the reality for the Russians now. I mean, if you look at the satellite image of the Novorossiysk oil export terminal, it almost looks like wherever you land that drone, something expensive will get destroyed. Putin is gonna be furious about these officers who were supposed to protect this site. It was the 1537th Anti-Aircraft Missile Regiment's deployment site. The officer responsible for the defense of Novorossiysk, I think he ought to stay away from the windows or not drink any tea in the future, just for his own safety, you know. And I will end this topic just with the beautiful satellite image and with the geolocation of the fires on the terminal, so we're all on the same page that it truly was burning and it was shut down. Beautiful thing the Ukrainians did here. Now we go to Pokrovsk, and my friends, Ukrainians are still holding in Pokrovsk. Their general staff reported a few days ago that they have cleared 25 square kilometers of Russians around Pokrovsk. Now here is a video of a Ukrainian fighter under train rail cart. And I just want to watch that video with you together and listen to the sounds and see the impacts and everything, just to give you an idea what the fighting is really like. Let's watch it. FPV drone hits 15 meters ahead, trying to shoot down the next one, and they hit all around. Can you tell the difference by the sound if it's an artillery shell or an FPV drone? Well, an FPV drone has more of a engine sound to it, although they both whistle when they dive down. The whistling is different. If you hear a few of them, you can make a difference quite clearly. See that? Phew, that was an artillery sound. That's an artillery. That's an FPV. You can hear the difference, it's quite clear. That's an artillery. That's an artillery. You can see how saturated the air is. It's artillery, it's FPV on both sides. Everything wants to explode and eliminate you. And as we talked about Pokrovsk before, it is not unified front line. It is very fluid, very mixed up, and there are more civilians in that city right now than there are soldiers. I mean, that's a crazy fact. The city is almost destroyed. That just gives you an idea of how little soldiers there actually are in Pokrovsk. A few hundred on both sides max. Russians are sending in these small sabotage groups that, if multiplied, if there's many enough of them, they come out of their hiding places and they actually pose a threat to everybody. And Ukrainians are sending in their units to clear the basements one by one. It's like a sweeping operation. The main point is that Ukrainians are still holding on, and about 2-3 weeks ago it was already claimed that Ukrainians only have a few days. Not the case. They're still there and they're expanding their control if they can. Unless, of course, Russians send in these killer robots. Look at that. Wow. Wow, wow. I would... Yeah, I'm scared. Look at that killing machine, man. If I'd see that in front of me in the battle, I don't know what to do. I'm not built up for this stuff to fight this robot. My friends, something strange happened yesterday, 18th of November. Russian military blogger Fighterbomber claimed that Ukrainians used their domestically developed and produced Hrim 2 ballistic missiles to attack the Russian city of Voronezh. Now, Ukrainian general staff came out later with the information that they actually used ATACMS, American-made ATACMS, to attack the Russian city of Voronezh. Which one is better? Which one do you want to believe? Which one saves the Russian face more? Ukrainians claim it was the ATACMS, and I believe them, but Russians claim it was the Ukrainian-developed missile, which is even worse for them. I don't know why would they claim this, because if Ukrainians are able to make a missile that is in par with the ATACMS attacking a Russian city of Voronezh, it's even worse for them. but that's what Fighterbomber believes. But what exactly did the Ukrainians attack in that city? Well, Pogonovo military training ground was presumably the target. That specific military training ground was the training ground where the invasion of Ukraine began in 24th of February 2022. That site was where the troops were pouring out. So in a way, it's a payback. Now, Ukrainians claim that there was a heavy concentration of Russian troops present, and you can assume that because it's a military training ground. They tend to have a heavy concentration of soldiers in the time of war. We don't have many good videos, but what we have are these lines in the sky of the ballistic missiles. Well, the point is that these were ballistic, not cruise missiles, and that's why it can be ATACMS or Hrim 2. By the way, Ukrainians have not publicly used the Hrim 2 yet, so Russians are on the edge of their seats waiting for the usage. And like in 23, where everything that struck the Russians was a storm shadow, now it's the Hrim 2. Oh, they used their super weapon, Hrim 2. No, it was only the American ATACMS. But that doesn't make it any better, it even makes it worse, because that shows that Ukrainians can use American missiles to fire onto deep Russian targets and military training grounds. Here's another video of the lines in the sky and Russian anti-air defense fire, which exploded in the sky, but I mean obviously it didn't take them down, because taking down ballistic missiles, I would say it's an impossible task for the Russian air defense. Like it took almost a week for us to find out how many S-400 launchers were destroyed in Novorossiysk, it might take some time to find out how many packs of potatoes will be sent to the Russian families after we find out the death toll of this strike on the Russian military training ground. Right now, I don't know. We will find out tomorrow or after tomorrow. I'll keep you posted. Now we gotta again travel back in time for 1 week. We go to last Thursday, because in the occupied Karelia, yeah, I'm knowingly saying occupied Karelia, it used to be Finland, now it's Russia. A Russian Su-30 crashed. The Su-30 that cost about, what, $80 million. It's a very modern plane, according to the Russian standard at least. It crashed, and it happens. Time and time again, I find myself reporting on crashing Russian planes in areas where there's no fighting and no enemy air defense systems. That's just Russian aviation. Why I took so long to report this is because, well, now we know exactly who are the pilots if they were knocked out cold. By the way, they were knocked out cold. It was an aircraft from the 159th Fighter Aviation Regiment Patrol, which is responsible for the patrol with Finnish border. I mean, it's the longest NATO border any country has with Russia, and they have modern planes falling out of the sky from that aviation squadron. Not a good look, honestly. One of the pilots was Vice Colonel Kirill Gartsev, a very high-ranking officer. This is what it looked like, and somebody made a beautiful video of him proudly presenting his awards with a burning plane. I'm not a big fan of AI, but sometimes it has its uses. So this shows you the readiness of the Russian aviation to fight NATO. The planes are just falling out of the sky. And continuing with the Russian NATO border, let's now travel a bit south to Estonia, my country, because this is one of the border posts of Russian-Estonian border. It's a Russian border post. I don't know why. Maybe they sent all the troops to Ukraine, maybe they're drunk partying, whatever they do, but this dude here is not a dude at all. It's a dummy. Russians placed a mannequin, a dummy, on top of their border post. A dummy cannot see if we're invading them. I guess they don't care. I guess they are not afraid. Well, anyway, if we wanted to invade Russia, now is the time, because the dummy is, I don't think he's gonna shoot back. Now, my friends, I want to bring to you a 21-year-old Russian fighter. He was born in 2004, he was captured by the Ukrainians, and now he's calling home to his mother. He's a young guy, a young lad, Dmitriev Ruslan Alexandrovich. I want to show you the conversations happening, and they happen inside Russia also. I mean, you can clearly see the love of a parent coming through this video. Check it out. I gotta say, disclaimer, honestly, I don't really spare any empathy for the Russian occupiers, but in this video I'm making an exception. Hi, Mom. I'm a captive. I urge all Kazakhs not to go to war. Here they scam people, send them to meat assaults. Don't pay them and generally treat them like shits. They use them as cannon fodder. So what? What do you want from... Look, your son is calling you, saying, I'm alive, I've been captured. Yeah, this is the reality now. Mother is like, what do you want from me? I cannot understand for the life of me. How can this be the reaction of a parent to the child or a son? I mean, the mother probably just found out that he was alive. He's like, what do you want from me? Don't you want to talk to me, Mom? The fact that I'm in captivity doesn't interest you or concern you at all? Well, like, I'm alive. That's good, isn't it? Yeah, that's good. Well, what can I do about it? Tell me, please. How can I help you? At least talk to me, Mom. I had a chance to talk to my family. Do you understand that? I hear you. I'm listening to you. That's why I called you and texted you. You didn't answer. I couldn't answer. I understand. I understand. In short, I'll get straight to the business. I will not return to Russia. And I don't intend to fight for Russia. I'll go on the side of Ukraine. Here's a lad. See, if I'm telling you, oh, I make an exception about my empathy, well, he earned it. He's switching sides, coming to the side of the light, coming to the side of the Ukrainians. He has seen through the Russian false illusions, and now calling home to the mother. The reaction of the mother says it all. And I will not return to Russia. Are you crazy? So, the mother finding out son is alive, should be happy. Yeah, okay, I'm glad you're alive, do what you have to do. But she says, are you crazy? Because the empire always comes before your children. Are you crazy to betray the empire? I don't want to fight. Where I don't even consider me a human being. What do you... I was just sent like a meat. Just into the boiler. And roughly speaking, out of 6 people, there are 3 of us left. So, I can't. I am triggered by the responses of this mother. I just can't. How inhuman the regime can make you. How inhuman you allow yourself to be. I'm feeling for this Russian lad here. I hope he's alright. And he, honestly, you cannot choose your parents, but you can choose what you do with your life. And this young man here just manned up and did the right thing. Stepped up to his mother saying, I'm now not going back to Russia. Mother calls him a traitor, by the way, almost. Check it out. Do you realize that this would be desertion? This is what the mother is talking about. I would be glad my son is alive. And the mother is like, do you realize this is desertion? You're doing this to the country. They treat me well here, feed me and gave me water. They didn't beat me, contrary to what is usually said. There is a bed here, there is food, everything is fine. They treat people, not like cannon fodder. You can feel the difference, Mom? Yes, I'm listening. I can't. I'm not gonna watch this. I can't. The responses of the mother are so zombified, so inhumane. It's her own flesh and blood calling home. She should be ecstatic that her son is alive, but she is caring more about, do you realize this is desertion? You're deserting your empire, you know? I can't. And after watching this heavy video, my friends, I have to apologize. I have even of a heavier video for you now, so if this is too much, I'm sorry. But we gotta watch this. This comes from the commander of the 9th Company of the 3rd Battalion of the 30th Separatist Motorized Rifle Brigade. I know it's a mouthful. Well, the military unit number is 45863, and this is Stanislav Zaitsev. That's the commander, and he is abusing his personnel. I watch it, I want to share it with you so you know exactly what the young lad in the previous video was talking about. This is what he was talking about. Don't do this. And he's shooting his own men with air rifle. I mean, it doesn't kill you, it doesn't even wound you, but it's really painful. This is... And now he's forcing him to get naked. It's cold. Right now, it's cold wherever you are in Ukraine or in Russia. Forcing the guy to give him his bank card, by the way, and puts him in the pit. By the way, talking about this, tomorrow I am making a specialized video for you of a compilation of all of the Russian army's punishing methods, one of them being the pit. It's the most popular. Russian commanders love it, and in this video also the guy's going into the pit. It's cold, it's probably gonna get hypothermia and pass out. Tomorrow just be back. It's Thursday. I know many of you are used to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You get an extra video tomorrow, so just visit my channel. You'll find a very informative video about the Russian punishing methods. Now we travel straight to Europe because Russia has launched a hybrid war against Europe, specifically against Poland, Germany and the UK. And the newest instance of that was this Sunday. It was 3 days ago when a GRU agent of Russia, that's the foreign intelligence, they blew up a railway line in two places that connected Warsaw, the capital, Lublin, and that if the railway line continues, it goes to Ukraine. That's the railway line responsible for the military aid, majority of the military aid going to Ukraine from Europe. And it was blown up from two places. You can see it on the map. Polish president was present. He visited those two places. And today he came out with the information in the Polish parliament that it was the Russian intelligence who did it. This is an act of war, almost, I would call it. This is an act of sabotage, an act of war. Countries have gone to war for less than this. Russians are blowing up railway lines in Europe, and I feel like sometimes we are... I feel like we're sleeping. I want to scream so much, wake up. I want to scream that to the Germans, to the Spanish, to the Italians. Hey, I don't have to tell this to the Polish or the Finnish or the Latvians or Lithuanians. We know what's up. The Polish know what's up. They're getting ready. The Finnish are getting ready. But hey, Germans, the Brits, everybody, wake up, my friends. This is a Russian declaration of war against us, except they don't say it. They mask it as, we don't know who it was. Maybe it was some kind of a terrorist. Or yeah. It's Russians. It's the Russians. They're at war with us. And we don't see it. This is it, my friends, but it's not, because now I'm gonna butcher some Buy Me a Coffee monthly members. I've even messaged to these guys in Buy Me a Coffee. They all know what's coming. Get ready, you've been waiting for this. Rovan Vode. Now we have Someona, but he wrote me a letter, so I actually will find out who it is. It's the drum roll of the century. Who is Someona? Hi Artur, keep up the great work. Your videos bring a smile to my face every time. I'm reaching out to see if you could entertain pronouncing my name in Estonian during one of their upcoming videos. You may have done so a long while, but I missed that episode. No Russian, regardless, I will continue to support you even if you miss this message. But I didn't miss the message. I got the message, Eric. Hey, there's nothing to butcher here. Eric could be, like, we have Eric in Estonian also. I think it's almost the same way you say it. Then we have Novorossiysk, Rob Scott. We have Dave Vevans. Yes. Consider your name butchered to the orbit. Now, I accidentally joined while I signed in under my boss account. What? Oops. I just wanted to apologize for the confusion and say that the name to butcher is my husband's. Vate Frankis, aka fucking Frankis. Well, I did it. I regret it, but I did it. Thank you, and we're sorry for the confusion. Vate and Elia Frankis. Hey, we got a married couple. That's really heartwarming and nice. Thank you for joining. Mika Mattheson. Consider your name to be butchered, my friend. And I will end this video with beautiful Ukrainian flamingos. Everybody loves those birds. They're so nice and pink, but I'm not talking about the birds. I'm talking about the missile of freedom. Firepoint FB5, the flamingo. Look at that. They're actually painting them pink. Like I asked them to in the last forever, they've been making them black, and it's like, you gotta make them pink. You understand how much marketing that is? You gotta make it pink. And they did. They bought pink dye. A military company buying pink dye. Can you imagine that? Firepoint is like, oh, we need 200 liters of pink dye. Why? Well, we cannot say, but everybody knows it's flamingo. Well, my friends, talking about flamingo, I have a flamingo for you, and you can drink it. My friends, after Ukraine wins the war, most things can be rebuilt, but there are things that are gone forever. Let me guide you through a piece of Ukraine's history that is now lost. Hidden 236 feet beneath the ancient ground of Bakhmut hides a secret, the world's deepest wine cellar. This was the birthplace of art wine, crafted using techniques passed down through generations. Art wine is not just a sparkling wine, it's a rare piece of history. On 24th of February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, and for a whole year, brave Ukrainian troops defended Bakhmut in the bloodiest battles of the entire war. But in March 2023, Prigozhin with his Wagner group entered the city. The home of art wine fell into the hands of the invaders. Wagner forces did not hide their presence. You can see the officer not believing his eyes. What a treasure they just stumbled upon. Art wine sparkling wine ages for years, and throughout that process, classical music was playing. To the amazement of the occupiers, it was still playing by the time they set their foot into those cellars. You can hear it for yourself. Listen. Not long after that, the leader of the Wagner group, Prigozhin himself, strolls around the cellars admiring the riches of the Ukrainian culture. Prigozhin, in the midst of stealing the bottles, decided to mock the Ukrainian women on Women's Day and wrote a greeting on one of the boxes while his crew was loading the sparkling wine to be taken away. It seemed as if this piece of Ukraine was lost. But it was not so. Just before the city fell, the bravest of men, risking their lives, smuggled out some bottles and they were sent to the U.S. These last bottles from the cellars of Bakhmut carry the bravery and resilience of the Ukrainian troops who defended the city, some to the very end. Today, in 2025, Ukraine is holding, innovating, creating their own missiles and hitting Russia back. This innovation shows in the Flamingo missile, pink, like the brute rosé sparkling wine from art wine. While the Flamingo destroys Russian oil refineries, these last art wine bottles wait for someone who cherishes their story. This is you. You have seen the suffering and resilience of Ukrainian people, so it is only right that you get the chance to own this piece of Ukrainian history, the last of its kind, a sparkling wine that will never exist again. I am working together with Art Wine to get you these last bottles, and only you can get the Rehi Flamingo Special Edition. There is even a flamingo sticker on the bottle for you. There is no better gift than this Flamingo sparkling wine. With it, you gift a piece of Ukrainian history and resolve. If you are looking for a meaning in a gift, well, here it is. This is the gift to someone you love. Get these very last bottles from Bakhmut at shop.artwine.com/products/flamingo. For now, these bottles cannot leave the safety of the United States, so only US orders are accepted. A once-in-a-lifetime chance to own or gift a piece of history that will never be made again. Slava Ukraini, my friends.